Fade or a Sova to be able to use drone utility or a recon to clear out close corners. It's much better at being able to get these big retakes, big execs going. Loud are skilled enough, talented enough to adjust the game plan on the fly, but they're always going to be limited by what the comp is good at versus what it's not good at. I think PRX has got a nice read here. It's also great to see something, hitting shots, feeling aggressive, going for plays. Because I feel like outside of one awesome game against Karmine Corp, he hasn't quite been at the top level that I expect from him.
He's a very confidence-driven player, I think, as well. I mean, if you take a gander at any of the PRX vlogs as well, you see it. You know, he wears his heart in his sleeve, actually. He has to be picked up on a frequent basis. You know, confidence around him, being the support staff and the players, his teammates. But when he has good games, you know, this guy is just unleashed.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Well, they know where he's positioned at the moment, and that's where you should expect the op to play. Many flashes to try to push him off the line.
So to try and defend the line as well. Bit of Odin spam and spray through. Jumping spot, you do not survive that apparently. It's a nice attempt and a nice clearance, but still, as they're trying to swarm the positions, they're getting absolutely pounded with artillery. Lesto. 1 HP, man, 1 HP. And maybe more than a dream. He's managed to bring this to a 2v2. Doesn't have the spike though, that was dropped down a little bit earlier.
Look how bold Forsaken is. He just jumped up on the same spot with a classic in hand. Two-ease? He's seen him!
Just altered up there and he just sees him crouched.
That's unreal!
Knee or an elbow, I'm not too sure, but it just pokes out here. But yet, it's on the other side of the map.
And he's thinking, how on earth have my team lost this? What's going on?
There's no shot. I mean, less, of course, being a difference maker. Now, they don't know where Munya is.
They have no idea. And PRX are the kind of team to over-rotate a little on defense, so they assume that he's close.
30 seconds
and now
left.
Monyet's wondering, well, where have they gone? Because if they were just on B, surely they would have got the plan down.
Incredibly winnable how low these two players are for Munyet.
He could kill them both with one nade.
Exactly. The nade, and not just that, went away from the showstopper, but he really wanted to try and seal the deal. Here it is. He's got a lot to clear here, but maybe gifted yet. Bit of that information. Pulls out the rifle, expecting the re-swing. Both the players are towards the back of the site now. A smoke. Drop down, classic out. Thinks twice against it, thinks second against it. Boombot forwards, that's gonna have to be broken. Nade, rebounds, out wide, and now he's just firing. Here's the rocket, talked about it earlier. Pre-fires in the corner, but he guesses incorrectly. And now he's left wondering, which way is Tuyas? How did he reposition? Time, ticking, ticking, shortly getting away from him. He thinks he's behind the boxes. A miscon perhaps away from it. Tuyas wins it out, and the MasterCard Thrifty.
What a wild way to end that round. I'm really unsure how it even got to that point, frankly, but you could just see the mind games between both of those players. The less information there was available, the more it favored Les and Tui's.
Watch them run.
Just a walk in through B main. And this one.
One enemy remains.
Who ults into that spot?
Unheard of. Truly unheard of.
God, that's a face of
Scary.
resignation almost.
It's a scary face, isn't it?
He's normally a little more animated than that.
Be practicing stoicism or mewing, not too sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Either inspired by Marcus Aurelius or Sigma males.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very similar, actually, very similar. So Loud now in a great position, right? Having won that round, it just turns the whole of Ascent, at least this half, on its head. Their economy is now flourishing, right? They're going to be in a position where they've got a good economic bank to work with. And they're also coming into this round with a huge rifle advantage, starting to get up to big ults. This is where Loud's attack side comp looks so scary, even though they're one round behind in reality.
That's when they start to come alive. This spot here, it's how pivotal that last round was for PRX. They ended up winning it out. The weak goodbye for Forsaken. How much is he really going to be able to do here with a runner back facing him? QCK going to be making sure to clear all the available corners. Has a bit of util to set him up. Knife out, one to the cranium, does drop that one. Here we go, second go of things. Forsaken doing quite well in that position there, but only going even here, 4 versus 4, but he has more time for the fast rotate.
And everybody on Loud playing on-site post plans. You know, even if Loud are able to get this, PRX can make it extremely expensive just by holding B main and the defense spawn.
Being cleared out now. Smoke propped up. Free-firing up to the sky, expecting Dizzy. Zindo now defaulting over towards the foul line, using that util to try and delay, but you are right, this could get pricey very, very quickly. Dizzy, broken. In there with the protocols, and now it is Loud to realize they have to really just barrel their way through this one. They are being penned in here with the guns, should be favored. Almost nice with the movement there from Divide, but shut down there. 2 players surviving from Loud, 9-9, even scoreline.
And Loud keep enough players alive that they do still have that cushion to work with. Tui's can drop Sadak, and they've got a good buy going with some spare cash to float around. It's Loud's ults that now become an issue for PRX. The more you let them get set up to go for example, the Rolling Thunder, the more difficult it's going to be. I'm looking at the minimap, and PRX look poised to go for some serious A-main aggression.
That puts the pressure on Mindfreak, doesn't it?
Yeah, because as soon as Sadak calls that, they're going to be running into the pit, I would imagine.
Put down, knife, spam into the corner. Mindfreak already dropped down to 50. Never mind, he's dead.
He's gone.
Finished. Dealt with.
And now, to be honest, Loud have no reason to immediately go into a B-site hit. Right? They know that PRX are very fast on defensive rotations. They cleared out Gelato early. Loud can just pump the brakes here and allow PRX to spread out a little bit around the map, or even force them into making a play that they can punish.
No command. Smoke off the timing for it. Just try and block off B main here. Molly sent flying into the smokes available here. Ready with the spam. Damage being done. Sadak barely alive, but does return the fire. Forsaken still.
What a
tucked
spot.
into the side. Yeah, but not going to be clear potentially, but faced by too many targets in opposition. This time storming into the site. It's going to be gained for them with that territory. Loud now. Reload. The Odin, 2 players left alive here. Munyet, though, has got us back to all the available players. Flash is really quite excellent, peeking through it. So now Loud taking that lead, 10-9. We talked about it, that danger zone for them, but this is how the comp operates, how it works.
And you can see the PRX are trying to disrupt it. If that had been the Loud taking a main control at the start of the round instead of B main control, then they would have had an enormous clash in Gelato.
Yeah.
And who knows who would have come out on top. But PRX kind of gambled incorrectly. They were going for the hard read. Loud do tend to favor the A site with the way that they call their attack sides. And just happened to be the wrong one. They were hoping that Mindfreak could hold stuff down on the B side of the map. And Les has got the read just inside his head. I think both of these teams struggled a little bit to be able to impose their will on the defense side. But what we saw from Loud on defense was that they actually found those rounds to be able to catch PRX doing something. And we're not really seeing that when the sides are flipped. PRX are going for a lot of early round aggression instead of mid-round aggression, and I think that timing difference has ended up being quite important for them. It's easier to read when it's just straight off the rip.
Yeah, it is.
I main Sova on Lotus.
I mean, honestly, there's worse things to play. There are worse things to play.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen it firsthand.
Like League of Legends.
Okay. He said it, not me. I can hear cackling from the desk, man.
All right.
Elimination game.
PRX are in a tough position here, though. They really are. It's about to spiral out of control. Forsaken's not really found opportunities to have his will imposed upon the game. And he snuck up to try to take fights. Cracks one, and he gets out.
Forsaken scot-free, man.
He's the player that's been the difference maker this tournament, and he wants more.
Oh, punished for the jump spot.
So punished for that.
2 players waiting for him to just make that kind of mistake with the paranoia flash over the top. There was a bit of a team blind, but on-site control for them. Now fighting towards Market. Something dropped dead. Difficult spot the PRX are being put into here is that the fact that Loud are just getting into these sites, obviously it's against a half by PRX, but they're not having to use ultimates doing it. They can save them now for when PRX have a bit of a buy round, the money's back into an orderly and sensible fashion.
PRX here. Again, the silver lining would be to apply enough pressure that the ults do get invested. It just doesn't seem likely, though.
No, it doesn't, does it?
And PRX's game plan has broadly been... you see... No, there's no danger here. PRX's game plan has broadly been to try to stack one of the sites and just kind of hope that Loud are going there.
One enemy remaining.
And the problem with that is, if you gamble incorrectly, Loud have just got into a post-plant situation.
Yeah.
And not just that, PRX are not playing the other side for full retake. They're playing it to still anchor with like one player. For example, when Mindfreak was inside his pit. Or here where Forsaken is trying to challenge B main alone for a cheeky kill when they're on the eco. But if you're gonna stack one side of the map super heavy, you're kind of forced to play full retake on the other. And just rely on your double initiator comp. At least something's enjoying himself out there. This is the round where PRX absolutely must get back in control if they have any chance of winning Ascent.
Need it. And group positions here. I mean, the Molly, they've got 10 for that one, but just to slap it down. Onto the orb. Paranoia, blind, nade, rebounds, and will clear out a few of these players too. He is timely there with a TP.
But Loud are going for a lot of re-clears, right? We haven't seen them go for big rotates around the map. PRX are realizing that. The re-hits coming through.
And here it is, rolling thunder. That will be a large
Divide dodged it.
I did dodge it, but there's a one-way smoke into his face. At least they deal with that. Run it back. Divide. Does he seek to try and disrespect this timing? Out and through, yes. The PRX players still holding their ground and basically rooted in place. And Les is now going to offload the pit to try and get them through. This is a call.
This is an amazing ult if you're planning to rotate and maybe split or go over to B. It's not that great for going into sight, but it keeps a lot of players on site.
Using a Nightfall. 2 tags. Here and out. Prowler sent straight through tree, wondering if that split's coming through. But now with 40 seconds, Loud are happy to wait this one out, but which direction are they going to take it towards? A seems like the likely contender.
They've smoked for a B split though, so Forsaken's worried.
30 seconds left.
He's had to watch and peel himself away. Top of mid, eyes onto it, Munyet. Paranoia settling in. Devi inside the smoke, wants to rule that position and take names away from them.
What?
Picked up. He's right behind them.
What?
What is that kind of play? Still, heads are falling and so are the bodies. Toppling down. Time working against them now over the top and running around. Oh my God.
That is the most important round though that PRX could have secured in that moment. They got the read that it was over towards A. They're starting to figure out how Sadak's calling the attack side. Do you remember earlier on in this game, PRX were throwing huge utility into A main and then rotating away, expecting Loud to pivot. Do not want to hit a heavy site. And because Sadak's been going for re-clears and re-hits so often, PRX had stacked so heavily on that area. Now, if that has got to be Alex's reaction to 2E's making the play, because he had that one moment of despair and didn't follow up on it. 2E's is actually ready to counter-op something in B main. But something, for whatever reason, has got those tingles on the back of his neck. He knows it's not a great idea, but he's starting to creep a little closer.
Fuse has been spotted, tucked to the corner. Now it is Omen, he can reposition here, but sets him up onto the line nevertheless, but now he's going to back away and respect it. Important to note, you know, we talked about it that previous round, but Loud did end up using 2 or 3 ultimate, something. Wall up in his face, contact plays, and he's out of there. Backing away, covering fire from Forsaken. Making sure the evacuation goes off without a hitch. Walking straight into the line of sight. It's something who's sniping them away in precision across the board for PRX. Wiping out the opposition.
Awesome round. This has really turned the tables. It's only Cowanzine left alive. They know where he is. Trapped in a corner. He's going to have to duel 4 players to be able to get out of here.
Util in the stun.
He's just stuck.
No chance. So
11 to 11.
the adjustments coming in handy.
Yeah, looking lovely. PRX don't try to contest super early. They've got like a slightly delayed op peek into B main, which is a nice timing to go for that. And they just catch this timing. Something is always a couple of seconds ahead of the play here. If he was a second slower peak in market, he might have died to QCK. If he was a second slower peak in B main, probably dies to 2Es. It's all about those tiny, fine margins. No hesitation.
Loud scratching their heads a little bit here, wondering how they can get that advantage. Now Les takes a load of damage off the rip, 61 health drop down.
Yeah, it's actually one of the first times that we've seen Les try to solo take this area, and he's immediately dropped.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a counterplay, I think, as well. Les usually throwing the orb from that angle.
Something makes it feel like it's the same setup in this round, which broadly speaking it is, by taking that op shot into market. And now it's actually caused Loud to pivot away. They do not want any of that smoke.
Crack of an angle. Devi turns away just at the right time. Flash in his face, backs away now holding the Paranoia. Now there is no contact for this. kind of play, so he's going to be backing away to the site and gives up control of tree.
With all of this noise, something's getting on a more aggressive line, so if they try to go back into a
Clear.
V-split, it's going to be difficult.
Clear, just can't quite land the bullets. No way, this is overzealous potentially. Perhaps, maybe over-aggressive, but they're not expecting it still. They've sucked up that space right back away from them. Sadak, the sole survivor of that position into tree, lays down the nade, but there's no follow-up. Flash now to repeat. It's a nice one, at least to try and cook up on the fly, but PRX are online.
It's so reminiscent of their game against Karmine Corp. The late resurgence in the final rounds. It's looking excellent. Loud dragged 2 of the maps against Sentinels into overtime. Are they able to do the same here? The economy is not good. Their game plans through mid have been countered. But they were winning when they dominated one side of the map and went for the exec.
And that's counter spam again. Les is trying to play it himself with the ult, and they're disrespecting him.
The same plays working out again for PRX. It's like they just run back the highlights of the previous rounds.
That's just insanity.
Forsaken spamming, as far as I can tell, the exact same line, and this time, Les goes down, something's feasting.
Mid.
Little to no chance for Loud now. This map 1. Be sealed up nice and pretty with a bow on top of it. For PRX, all the right adjustments at all the right time, but fuel to the fire just running out for Loud as well with his composition. They are struggling ever since they haven't been able to get those ults online, but Wingman sends him out flying. Quite connect. Kawazine seeking to try and pivot, but he can't break the door in time. Has to reload too on top of this, and already something is there. Following the sound cues, jiggle it out, baits out the op shot at least, but right into the judge. Now Forsaken, trapped in the corner, but it matters not. It's a 1v5, it would have to be the play of 2 years' his career to stand even a chance in hell. And for PRX, a leisurely walk is what it feels like.
Left.
Happy and secure in the knowledge that they are just setting sail into the sunset. Happy as anything, map 1 entirely wrapped up.
A beautiful late resurgence from PRX there, figuring out how to deal with Loud's attack side at the perfect moment. And Loud, I think, straying away from what was working for them in previous rounds, going instead for more of a play through mid, trying to get value out of the Viper Wall and connecting so often with the Judge, or primarily the Odin and the Op.
Absolute insanity, and guess what? We've got plenty more action left to come. Sunset on the cards. That is going to be a fantastic one. 2 teams that are...
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem. You need Verizon. Trade in that old thing and get a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons.
He does trade, but he takes damage. And Zeken's aggressive position should be revealed. He's going to try and play ahead of it, see if anybody gives him a fight, but they don't.
Oh, and there was cover as well, just in case the wide swings came through. That was through the wall. That was blind.
Where is it happening this time? Gen.G, they will take the pistol.
And again, just the patience shown by this attacking side. You saw, as we said, Sentinels off rip, look for mid control. They don't get it. The fake is made by Gen.G, making noise on A, taking space, and they walk into B for free. But post-plant, the idea to just send the 2 players in spawn and they sit there, waiting, running the clock down. John QT couldn't go out and fight with his teammate because he's worried about a flank coming up through heaven. This is a really nice pistol round from the side of Gen.G. I do like Sentinel's ideas as well, because they laid a trap. Just Gen.G were too wise to fall into it. Now on the attack side, you know, it's an interesting buy, Tom. I have to say, Texture is surprising me, because I'll talk all day long about the benefits of playing this Outlaw. I just don't expect to see it on the attack that often, but he's found success with it right off rip. Nobody on the defense has shields, so this weapon, even if they have light shields, which they don't, it's still going to be an operator. 2 shots, very fast movement, and a quick reload.
It's a round as well, though, where realistically, nothing really for their opponents to be playing with. Sentinels just saving up for the next round. It does mean that you want to keep it clean. Meteor, the only player that can really go down without being too much of a detriment. And obviously getting that extra information is a decent start. Zeka finding one. That's the spike down for John QT as well. This is starting to get worrying.
Well, Texture's down to 13 HP as well. You know, he's pretty much in an even fight regardless of who he takes on. That heal needed to come through. Luckily, there's been some time. As that clock runs down, the health goes back up for Texture, 100 HP. Lakia and Munchkin there to fight with him, but they have to walk into the open to take that spike into a big crossfire in play for Sentinels. Instead, they're going to take some space in Heaven, get that little bit of extra space to play with, and here comes the snake bite. It's not gone fully into the corner. Still a nade to play with for Texture, flash for Lakia, but they're caught off guard, and Zeus is intense! Pick off both up top! That's a disaster for Gen G! Now 1-1 after winning the pistol.
Yeah, an instant response with the MasterCard Thrifty and maybe some jitters for Gen G, because that was a heavy investment. 4 players with rifles. Already you're seeing the initial duel switch being won, and really isolated fights, like the spike going through the smoke on its own for Karan. That is an uncharacteristic arrow for someone like him. We've been singing his praises about his positioning, his movement, especially after the switch to Omen. I feel like he was fantastic. And that is a really rough way to kick off your attack. Rifles now fully bought up on what was meant to be an easy victory. Well, now Sentinels have the same chance.
Gen G with just a few pistols will struggle immensely on this. Now, we've seen this a couple times, this poison orb thrown up over right at the start of the round from Munchkin. It's causing a lot of problems for that Sentinels defense with the fact that he can slip out to the right side. You're going to need a trap there, which can obviously be broken by some of Texture's utility if he lobs it through. So it's not going to be that consistent. And if you leave it unchecked, well, someone's going to be sneaking through it in some round. You never know when. Always in the back of your mind. Now, the mid-hold, very strong for Sentinels. I don't imagine there's too much trouble. The close range engagement, though, catches Zelsis off in 10-2. Looks like I should have kept my mouth shut. We're all of a sudden in a 5 versus 3. Showstopper popped and fired at random. It doesn't land, but they've got a huge advantage to play with here. Sassy needs to hold strong.
He's in a good position, though. Already dropping a first, but the trade is instantaneous, keeping that huge advantage. What a chaotic start to this map already. The delay already put into position. Munchkin in a good spot, has a teammate alongside him, may not even need it, and it's going to be MasterCard Thrifty straight back, getting their money's worth in the early stages of this game.
They bought hardly anything here again, Tom.
They bought more than Sentinels.
That's true. You know, this is a hell of an argument for the bundle, but there's a few Sheriff shots landing there with the classic assists on the back of it. Just absolutely insane to see this in the first 3 rounds, that back and forth.
That was Zelsis' orb as well that went down, because the other one was thrown in B main.
Yeah, you're right.
So that means that he got caught by his own utility. Again, it's an error from either side. Both in the early stages have made mistakes. All right, Tens, that's one hell of a start. They've still got a couple of rifles. It's definitely not the prettiest of buys, but even still, somehow the team with the weaker has got off to a good start.
Well, that's it, because they happen to take the fight up against one of the players who has that rifle. And John QT, other side of the map, he's running the Phantom, now actually swapping over. Gonna be sending 10s towards A. But for the side of Sentinels, those 2 rifles, they stand a good chance in any fight. Those pistols, though, they're left to do a lot. The whole mid-control is around those
so
pistols.
much info.
They want to be playing this off the utility. That's the nade going through, forcing them back, doing some damage, too. Karen's now down to 83. I was a little bit of decay as well. The orb had gone up.
They got a rifle, but because of that neural theft, they used it to check if anybody was holding the rifle. So that's now a 3rd gun picked up from Sentinels. So they have boosted this quite a bit. 40 seconds left, 3 players still within the B site, but you still have Tens with a Paranoia available to him. Nothing really on Zelsis, though, so it is going to be onto him.
Oh, he's forced out of position. That Paranoia, it's landed on the players further up, and one was blinded. Caught by the trap, another now inside, and well, he's gone. 2 kills with a classic for Zelsis. He's being wrapped on, at least a chance to shut him down. One that they must realize. Meteor, there we go. It's a connection with 12 seconds left, and the spike's gone up into heaven, dropped. Even if the last kill wasn't found, I don't think they were getting that one done. 2-2.
You're never going to believe this, but that was a MasterCard thrift.
Was it?
I don't know what's happening.
Is that the first one we've seen so far?
No, I believe it's the third.
Third in a row.
This is such a peculiar game. Now, obviously, because both teams are still sort of building up finances.
What is this?
The next one's not going to be, but if you've ever seen an advertisement for buying the SEM bundle, that is 2 kills off the back of Zelsis, the man who's been plugging it this entire event. We're never going to hear the end of it.
Well, at least they're feeling it too. Kaplan with his thrifty calls. Forgot the MasterCard in front of it, but I'll forgive him. I'll forgive him this once. Well, Gen G, they're not going to be too happy about the back and forth nature of this early game, especially the fact that they got caught by not being able to shoot the traps. It's a little unfortunate, but these things happen. There was a combo of util, again, thrown towards them, making it that little bit more awkward. They try to take some fights. That's
How has he
unlucky.
not destroyed that?
Yeah, I'm starting to think Sentinels have got some sort of trap abuse going on. They're not taking the bullets.
Look at Meteor, though. He's just about to walk in. Sassy might be caught unaware. Got so far forward before anybody really realized. 10's up above. Has support from Zelsis, but this will be an afterplant. This time, I don't think there's any denial. And Meteor hasn't stopped his push. He's still going forward.
It's a lot of space to take, a position you usually expect, but the big difference to this is Karen. He's also there with a paranoia in hand, and it's about to come through. There it is, the step was heard. But luckily, those players are able to round the corner just in time. Nade, not really gonna force Meteor back, but he falls back anyways, concedes the space. They're gonna commit utility to trying to clear that back out, at least in his mind, but the paranoia is kept in the back pocket, now burned up to go towards elbow. Here comes the blast pack from Zekin. He's towards the side, picking up Karen, and Zelsis had opened up the rest, leaving Meteor alone, doing so much damage. It looks like Munchkin was able to catch an angle, and with the snake bite landed, that's buying a little bit more time. Tens has to run for the hills now. There's no time left with another found. Gen G take the lead. It's not quite a MasterCard thrifty, but it is a Red Bull clutch.
the script really is just paying dividends at this point. A round break back for Gen G. Coming off the clutch, again, we talk about Sentinels in these retakes, and they're phenomenal. Just being able to come in from behind, isolating these fights, and even after the aggressive positions that were held. But as Munchkin, the leader of the team, someone who's been highlighted so many times by different members of his roster to help elevate, well, this time, he's done it individually.
Get out of my way.
Now straight away, Blade Storm popped. The pacey side of this round looking to come out as they take early space towards this A site. Pit already into mid, but straight over the top goes Meteor. He's looking to pressure.
Oh, I thought he might have had that for free, but the cage blocked off just enough to give him that little bit of space to work with. Still a player on B and one in mid. Gen G have a lot of space. You don't expect to see a Sentinels crunch just yet. And look at how much they're keeping in their back pocket for the eventual fight. A paranoia is still to work with. Almost every piece of utility, the big ones online. One flash just popped by Sassy, but Meteor turns. The blades are used up. Look, they're not finished pushing. Lakia went charging forward, even though his teammate had fallen back a little disjointed from Gen G. But Munchkin capitalizes on the chaos, picks up 2, and keeps having control. That's a huge position for them to play with. And now Sentinels even send Sassy back to reclaim it, buying so much time as only John QT's on the site, flanked out and distracted by Meteor. The clock is running down. Munchkin late flanks up through heaven, and the classic fight's awkward. The knife kill is in, but it's too little too late. Again, the time is enough for Gen G to claim the round.
Yeah, we've finally seen our second round in a row after what was a crazy back and forth. It is Gen G to come out on top, but again, it was close, and John QT comes out with a knife. Munchkin, though, he has got off to a fiery start.
Of this series should be relatively even. Both of these teams, they like to play this map. They're quite good at it in their own way and form.
I love the way the PRX approach this. We're going to see him immediately take some mid-control. The clashing tiles.
Yeah, they're just trying to fight them. They're watching for it.
Tui's. I think he got a collat there with the Ghost onto Divine Monyet.
A ridiculous beginning here. Now they can expect Mindfreak, who's worked his way in. He's thinking twice about it now. Backs himself into market. What a beginning. I mean, the smoke deep down, not expecting that tile's aggression there. That just comes down to a game of chance.
Yeah. PRX are so happy to opt into the variance that is ever present in this game and hope that it works out in their favor. the smoke there to try to block off certain sight lines coming from bottom mid. But as you say, they just had no idea that Loud were going to run a pistol, which also involved them charging towards mid through tiles.
They want to take the fight straight to him, try and earn a few more of these ults, less onto the corner.
It's a good idea for QCK to try to push through that, see if he can find the kill.
Yeah.
It's going to be his ult that they try to build up early, but that's not exactly the way the cookie crumbled to open things up. It's actually very close. Two kills and a death, plus the ult orb.
We'll see how that opened up. I mean, yeah, they're just using that deep smoke to hide from a potential deep dart that gets used. Loud just above the sign of market.
Yeah. It's a specific counter-strap pistol, and Loud just happened to utterly destroy it.
Right here.
And now, PRX stacking towards the A site.
Standing ahead.
Smoking mid in the exact same fashion, hoping that somebody sees it. Just a call, like there could be that presence into mid.
Les completely alone here. He's going to get overwhelmed. And now PRX are going to understand that this was fake pressure early on over towards A. So Salek's got to accelerate. They've got to get into the B site. But you've always got to be worried with PRX. Is there still one player hanging around this area? It's going to slow them down slightly.
That's why they're clearing it. Due diligence. Showcase, drone through as well, making sure they're into the back of the site.
Flash.
Players though, deep flash. As long with that, I mean, a Dizzy, a Wingman, everybody collided and collected into that deep corner here, but it just don't have the weaponry to really nail them. The paranoia was fantastic, and maybe more so. One player to stand. It's 2 years on 1 HP. Smoking onto the spike, it's turned just like that. Wall up, Devi blocking it, has to be broken here, but a reload for 2 years now, and he's so loaded, it just feels like he can't get the spam bullets on, spraying through, just needs one to really hit and connect. It's not happening! It's a MasterCard Thrifty.
And Devi even cleaning up 2Es at the end. He can't recover the rifle, but what a round for PRX. And that is immediately in round 2 showing you some of the power that PRX have on defense. And it comes down to the fact that their comp is so good for flood defending into B. That flood defending back B is one of the most successful ways you can possibly play this map. And when you have flash Dizzy combos to get into backside, and then Sage Walls to block stuff off, and smokes additionally too, Loud are going to find it difficult in post-plant situations.
Nice, 4 spotted here. Wonderful indicator. What danger is there in this round? Maybe if 2 years are able to just flip the back ahead of Devi. Doesn't. He's in mid though.
2Es is fast to get into position to make the play. But 2 players doubled up, Devi and something looking to re-clear.
Yeah, good level of awareness.
And Forsaken also with pretty decent awareness on the other side, even though that one-way missed.
Yeah, into this corner, he's really stuck here. There's no repositioning, they've overwhelmed them. Doesn't matter about the superior weaponry. Needs to be that refight, the re-peek as well, a little bit. Just wrangling the beast that is their rifles. Aftershock can't be walking too far into this one. Dodging of the flash, Dizzy up into the air, but Salek, he's taking a fight straight to them, and now frustration really showing. Dodging at the timing, no! The dart just reveals and towards the back, and it's back-to-back Thrifties, man.
MasterCard are getting their money's worth today. I mean, we're coming off the back of the Sen Gen G game where we just had Thrifties over and over and over too. I'm confused though. In what way was Forsaken stuck in the corner? Moniette's above him. He can walk backwards whilst keeping his crosshair focused towards A-Link. They could have set up a double face.
Yeah, they could have.
He's just kind of shoved himself in a corner looking to try to take the fight. I assumed he was just going to continue backing up. Very odd. Opened up the door though for Loud. Opportunism. Finding them the second round there and getting things back on track. There's that same smoke to try to deny.
Oh my goodness, you're joking. You're joking.
And it gets Cowanzine down
Again,
with
that's
the
a spike dropped. And they've gained control and ground and another kill. You cannot be doing this to me now. I'm telling you, the MasterCard representatives will be very happy, but it's not exactly the most picture-perfect Valorant that we've ever seen here. Wingman alerting the presence, at least to know now that a few Loud players are here. Spike's still dropped down, but it's coordinated off, and they've obtained those rifles, and they're using them to great success. Now, having to really just brute force their way through. They've gathered the spike up, but listen, they're just spamming it through. One left to stand, Sadak. You can't overcome it. It's a back-to-back Thrifties.
This is ridiculous. This is so similar to Split with Sen Gen G. the aggression coming out, very similar to the pistol round. And Loud, think of things from their perspective just for a moment here. They're in an elimination game. The pressure is on them. They're playing against a difficult opponent. They've only matched up against once, and they lost that time. Expectations are mounting for them to try to make a podium finish. You get the pistol win, you throw it away, you win it back, and it disappears out of your hands again.
Relation to disappointment back again here for Loud.
A true roller coaster of emotions. Now, Kawanzin's trying to get Tiles to use this fault line that goes sideways and covers both sides, and they use it to pick off something. So once again, Bren, the team with worse utilities winning it out.
Okay.
I say worse utility, I scrambled my words. I meant worse weaponry. The utility was fantastic. But that's Kawanzin trying to get that deep Tiles position, and this time no one from PRX punishes him for it. It's just a game of playing over various different areas of map control and a little bit of gambling of where PRX want to fight.
CK will lead the charge here, making sure all the areas are cleared. Into the side, Kawanzin dart into a deep position. An attempt of a timing by Mindfreak is immediately punished. 2 left to stand, 2 left to fight. PRX. What have they got in them? Yeah, really wide face there, and he's going to get beamed down straight through the wall. Devi does have the money to make a go of this, but does he really still opt into it?
The thing is, their economy's still in a good spot because we've just been sent through the tombola machine. You never know what's coming out the other side, and we're all getting shaken up and down.
Backside position, though. Quickly, Devi is going to be swarmed from this position. Molly at the feet, dropping down, and a nailed shot, man. I mean, so much precision.
I'm not saying it again,
You're not
Brendan.
saying it again?
I'm
okay.
not doing it.
I mean, I'll do it. I'll activate the sponsors. I'll make them happy. MasterCard Thrifty.
Look, Loud are now in a position, though, where they're starting to get huge ultimates online. Their composition has ults, so you need like 7, 8 points to be able to get online. You're not supposed to really have access to these big ultimates as soon as the economy starts going for your opponent. But PRX are 1 away from being broken here. Not that that means anything in this map. And now Loud are pretty close to some big ults. Now I'm looking at Kawanzin's positioning. And he sends an early fault line up towards A and is trying to take space off the back of this recon. But look, he is quite exposed in mid here. And he's trying to take this Tiles position. The second fault line perhaps for a later re-clear over towards A. If indeed you had somebody like Forsaken looking to fight there or something with his operator.
Take flight.
Quite slow and steady, though. Cautious.
But they have multiple tools for these map control plays, and this time deciding to invest the drone. No tag, so no ult from Sadak.
Delayed wall.
Yeah, and if you break it, you give away that there was serious pressure behind
They're
that.
pinging up onto the top of it. I mean, Devi loves to play on top of this here. Great flash. Taken, rattles off a few bullets, lets them know his presence. Knife's going to be sent into the opposite direction there with 2 tags as he seeks to try and make a go of this one here. Pop Flash plays the Hunter's Fury at his back to set it up, and there were an anti-flash position. Okay, so Loud have the protocols to deal with that. Themselves now into this site. Will they choose to use any more ultimates? A bit of random spray once more by Devi. It's that Phantom at play, at work.
30 seconds left.
It's a bit of chip damage, but nothing really more
comes
to
the
show
flood.
for it. And here it is.
4 players blinded.
There, big one with the Dizzy on top of it. Rolling Thunder now has to be committed. Thrash slow to a crawl. Les is a monster in this spot. This particular position and any attempt here, they just want to barrel over the smoke position. Something, no chance here on the retake. Not with the operator now, so he has to just run tail between his legs.
PRX's composition is fantastic on those A retakes. You saw the amount of utility that was flying towards Loud, and they still managed to come out the other side unscathed. Mostly, I think, due to the fact that Kawanzin had managed to save his ultimate. They were thinking about investing it. You could see Kawanzin positioned in a spot where he was thinking of ulting sight towards A, but they took the gamble, saved it for the post plant, and came out to the good. Now Kawanzin...
Taking already up.
Kawanzin dying to spike there. Don't ask me.
Luckily they've got money to spare.
Yeah. But that's a great punish onto Forsaken. Unless choosing to try to take the aggressive option, not caught by any of that retake utility. It was perfect. Les and Kawanzin stepping up for Loud.
Yeah, and now Timeout being taken here for PRX. The trouble is, how do you get a grip in terms of what is replicatable? Because the rounds that you're winning have been you know, seemingly down to just hitting a few stray shots, going for the mid-aggression.
Well, you can clearly see that they have an anti-strat prep with regards to Monyet's smoke to try to deny info for Sadak's recon, right? So maybe you try to lean into that a little more and put pressure onto Tiles. That was clearly their game plan coming in, and just because you lost the pistol round doesn't mean that you're always going to lose a fight happening there. But I think the other part of it too is that they just allowed, because of the craziness of how this map began, allowed to start getting some big ults online. And to be honest, in my opinion, that was the biggest problem there. If PRX had been able to run that same retake scenario, but without the breach ult, I really think they're favored.
Looked like it.
And it is so important in moments like this to not overcorrect. If you have the right ideas and they're just not working, you might still want to stick to them. Like I was talking about earlier, PRX do have a lot of variance in the way that they play. When you have two teams like this that are so down to just opt into fighting against each other, it is going to vary. Form is going to play an enormous factor.
I feel like just a coin flip at times here. We could buy 4 PRX. We'll see if it makes a difference. Mindfreak is sole recipient of the rifle. He's going to be holding down a B angle just by himself here. Orb's going to be given up. Acknowledgement there with the Dizzy going down, so they know that there's players lurking around, a slow default play, which, you know, isn't anything out of the ordinary for Loud.
No, and you can see that Loud is starting these rounds really passively. They're making sure to not go for any deep plays over towards mid.
Or Mindfreak.
They're barely going into B main until just now. Spot the shoulder of Mindfreak, and he hops away. Did they even really get confirmation there that he has a rifle? I'm not sure.
Mindfreak position. Always trying to tuck himself up onto the box here. Are they even going to be aware of it through slow orb at their feet? Kawazine, a few random bullets. He might think it's cleared. It's not. Patience! Played to perfection here by Mindfreak. Might be looking for a few more still. He's dropped down to 2 of them. Divide has gun of his own now, ready for the spray through, ready for the spray down, revealed. Tucks to the corner, sidearm out and wide, but less will put him down and put him to rest here, dodging to the flash, but he's got a lot to overcome now. Positioning flipped around, weaponry handed over. Discipline honed and ready, showcased by PRX. Now listen, the spike is on Less's side, but he's going to have no opportunity to really get a free plan off here. Molly down, running through it, Monyet, and there it is. Round 1, they know it, tucked to the corner, something. Recognizing the win conditions. Guess what? Another Mastercard Thrifty.
Yeah, and also an ace. Just to cap off how absolutely crazy this game has been, we have another Thrifty round, powered by Mindfreak being able to get a Q play in this corner and Kawazine not really able to clear it. Divide following up with the rifle. And Les does what he can, but it's not enough. Taking the risk, playing for that variance, and it pays off for Mindfreak. Now Loud change up the pace.
Oh my goodness, it's PRX taking a fight straight to them. Yeah, Loud opted into that pace increase. They wanted to try and fight it. It ends up them being punished. One-way smoke as well. This is just sharpness on display.
That's wild. That caught me completely off guard. I mean, Loud have been playing such slow defaults to start these rounds off. Focused on A main control, but not that fast. Forsaken almost caught a timing. Surely will.
With the gun, yeah, sticking wide and out. Tap, tap, tap with the AD. Yes, 2 years survives the duel and encounter. Has the spike in his hands, but he'd have to do a lot more than that to make this winnable, especially when he's on 8 HP.
And I'm not exactly sure what the read was there for Sadak in this round, but PRX have been fighting with 2 or 3 players every single time over towards A main. I think you've got to start trying to take space in the early round somewhere else on the map. You can go back and late re-clear with the fault line or the drone, but I think trying to just run in and take that fight straight up is going to be so difficult. There are so many tools, though, that PRX have at their disposal with this no duelist composition. If you ignore A main completely, sometimes Divide might just wall it off, and then they can just ignore it. I mean, what are the chances that both teams just decide to fight A main that fast? The flash connections were so perfect. PRX fight through all of the smoke utility to get the kills.
Not just the flash connections, I mean the shots on target too.
Yeah. And that was something that I was a little concerned about going into this game, actually. Loud are going to take a tactical timeout, but I felt like from what we had seen over the course of the rest of this tournament, Loud had more players stepping up with their individual form. You know, Les is just consistent. He's always a monstrous player. But I feel like QCK's had some big moments. Tui's has been playing better than expected too, and Kawanzi's been like putting in some solid work at times. When I was looking at the other side of things for PRX, it was only really Forsaken that was blowing me away. Something had some big moments, but wasn't always there. Today, he's been on fire. If you want to look at one individual that turned the tide of Ascent, it would be something with the operator in his hand. And you've also been getting better and better performances from Monyet as he spends more time with pressure on him on the stage.
Something that Alex has been alluding to as well in these interviews, but just that stage experience being so valuable for a team like PRX when they've been making these adjustments, trying to find that identity, I think. But listen, if it's form that carried them to this point right now, the ideas and time are kind of flourishing, honestly. They've got good reads, they've got good adaptations, they've got good counter strats, prepped and planned. They're making it so damn hard right now for Loud to try and deal with.
Again, PRX start 3 players ready to fight over A. And Loud go for the exact same default setup again. You know, Sova, Viper over towards A, Kawanzi in tiles. Ready for any kind of mid-aggression, sure, but not actually taking aggressive map control in B main or market, anything like that.
For mid, face wide, doubled up in the high-low, but no casualties or kills. Yet Devi, he's making a go of it, he's making a mess of it. I mean, Kawazuna puts him to rest.
Yeah, the Mosh got a kill, and Sadak's just sticking the orb right in the middle of all of these guys' faces.
Oh, win. Oh, no.
Wait!
He's what? What's going on?
That's wild. Just hoping that he would find another player involved. Kawanzi sprays down 2, but something gets the response. And it's all left to Tui's, who, of course, is not in A main where the fight is happening.
No, he wouldn't be. He'd be on the other side of the map, of
and
course.
He certainly is, without the Omen ult to be able to make the play happen. Thrash hunting him out. Smells blood in the water, but can't quite get a sniff this time.
Misdirection might be working to the favor
30 seconds
of
left.
Tui's now. Time pressure will work against him. Spike is dropped down into no man's land.
If something gives him a free kill, though, this is winnable.
That's how the clutch really begins, but he was just aiming in the wrong location. 4 kills in the round for something.
And this round, Loud did actually try to... It wasn't early round market control, but QCK started walking into mid after they realized PRX weren't fighting it, and then was looking to prod towards that area of the map.
Yeah.
But there was no smoke up towards top mid, not enough players in mid to dominate those sight lines. And so there's a kerfuffle that happens over there that PRX come out, I guess, to the good. And Sadak's trying to make it fake like it's happening over towards A, and the PRX players just peek. The more mess that's involved here, the more I think you start playing towards PRX's strengths.
Fast play again. Deep molly, deep dart, flash into the corner. Monyet's here with the judge. No clearance. No clearance. It's starting to get sloppy. It's starting to get sloppy indeed. And guess what? Exactly where a team like PRX thrives. Pound for pound, this team, they were born and bred in the chaos. And they're showcasing exactly why. You can never underestimate this squad still.
Ultimate is ready.
Monyet walks straight into it. 2 years, again, brought into essentially an unwinnable scenario.
Another round, another Loud player
Surrounded.
in a 1vx, completely surrounded.
Yep.
And PRX are coming out here. They're really not adjusting their defensive setup too much. It's that Loud cannot come up with the answers. We've now seen 4 rounds in a row, roughly following the same kind of trend, where Loud want to take control of A and push PRX back, and they can't figure out how. The judge, the paranoia, the swings from both sides, just getting pulled into the maw of PRX.
It's all smiles on the faces of the PRX players. Of course it would be.
Coming out, they're really not
Never,
adjusting
Alex.
their defensive setup.
It's scary when he smiles, actually.
It's
You don't
that
expect
Loud
it.
cannot
This
come
is
up
the
with
first time
answers.
PRX decide not to fight over towards A. So we might see a very different round here.
Where Loud want
Loud
to
are
take
actually being
control of
given
A,
this space.
push
PRX
back,
anticipating
and
that they
can't
would
figure out how.
change it up.
Surely they don't go A main again
judge,
after
the
we've just
paranoia,
been
the swings
beaten
from both
them.
sides.
Just getting pulled into the
Well,
maw
not to be
of
deterred,
PRX.
though. It's all smiles on the faces of the PRX players from the ultimate.
Coming out.
Builds up his. Deep drone that wasn't used to clear elbow, so they can start to use that now towards the site. Munyet, his position is vulnerable here. It's a pop flash play to set him up with a bit of supportive utility. He wants to disengage now with a smoke dropped down. No command, feeling the heat, feeling the pressure.
That's a weird one, actually, because it looks like they're playing for retake, but they've popped the null command. And Loud think that they're anchoring the site, so they haven't committed. This is a strange standoff.
Line in the sand has been drawn. Deep TP into mid here, 2 years. I believe just sticking that one, so he's given himself a deep position to mid. Probably won't matter too much. Munyet might be eager though for a challenge here. How's your reaction time? Sun flashes on flashes. Paranoia to meet their match. And a deep dart as well that's not going to be accounted for. Hunter's Fury though tucks into it, gets the connection, gets the collision course straight into these players. And Munyet does a decent job of just avoiding it. Dodging, ducking, weaving, but not enough there. And a repeat with the Outlaw. Something has something to say. On a reload online, shock darts though, jumping around the punish, and they're out wide and open, ready for the taking.
Even when Loud are given control of elbow, PRX still find a way to come out on top. This is 5 rounds in a row now. After a very back and forth beginning, when no team could really get a handle on the economy, everything that Loud tries, bearing in mind that this was a lower eco buy as well, but it's all just been getting crushed. Surely Loud are going to change things up. And this time their attacking setup, does look slightly different. PRX have already anticipated it though.
Mid.
Tiles flash
Mid.
mid.
Munyet's here already, forwards in the approach, and he is set up with that util. Run it back, dealt with, and dropped immediately. These ults just tumbling before our very eyes here. The deep hit into B main.
It is a great read though from Les. He realizes that if they're fighting over mid, they can't be doing their normal A setup. So he takes this timing into elbow. There is a chance that a bullet could find the back of something's head here.
Yeah, he's not watching for it, and so he will be falling. Flatlined to the side, and a sight gains now for Les. Going to be calling for the rotate and the pivot. Smokes.
He could drop a pit.
Falling down, he certainly could, and really turn this into more than a winnable spot with 2 years in that late lurk player dropping like flies. 2v3 here. Loud have a massive advantage here with the pit with the Rolling Thunder. Really just letting it loose and letting it rip here. Sky high, that's the Vi. He's going to be flying forwards and won't be able to withstand any sort of pressure there, leaving it just to Mindfreak now.
Mindfreak's been good at catching 2Es in all of these previous rounds, but finally 2Es gets his value on the lurk. Loud with 5, but questions in my head about whether or not that's going to be enough.
Who knows?
There was a serious streak there of dominance from PRX on the defense side, and I do like the way that PRX play their attack too. I think both of these teams are very confident in Sunset. Still, anybody's game, but Loud, the team under the most pressure.
Of course, listen, it's elimination. They're already 1 map behind. It's going to have to be that comeback, starting at the pistol round in that second half. Before we even get into that as well, earlier we did hear from Forsaken, just heading into the series.
Hello guys, I'm Jason, aka Forsaken, and I play for team PRX. Against Genji, we lost, but I don't feel anything and I don't have any regrets. I mean, I can tell that we're gonna lose because, they play well, but at the same time, I would say we just want to go lower bracket, because I know that they're good, and also we're not in the good shape. We have shaky map, shaky roster. Also, it's we're not doing as great as last time, so I didn't regret or whatever.
Something needs to do a little bit more. He's done some damage, and there's the follow-up. A shot right to Texture's temple. That's going to put us in a 4v2 with PRX. Definitely favored to take this pistol now. Forsaken fallen. A little bit more of a chance. Something, though, delivers. Okay, he's up top and not spotted. Easy peasy.
If we meet Loud, I'm just going to go all in, and I hope you guys enjoy our W gaming, Actually, I feel like we shouldn't have been in the playoff. We should have been lost long time ago, maybe against TH or KC. Because I felt lucky, I would say, last time. But, like I said, when we go lower bracket, and every time we already played the match, finished the match, no matter we win or lose, we will improve very fast. And hopefully in lower bracket, we will show you guys on our improvement.
Yeah, Forsaken just handling that pressure like water off a duck's back. Coming into this entire tournament, just with the lowest of expectations, and now they're just improving at a meteoric pace, looking to really just take it to a team like Loud. They have the lead here at the half of a decider map.
Yeah, I think that one of the big problems for PRX is that their previous playstyle involved them being in the flow state, of all just having the same understanding of what was going on. And the more that you try to force that kind of thing and worry about the fact that you're outside of it, the worse it gets. But just getting absorbed into this tournament seems to have brought back some of that synergy. Some of the single-mindedness that we see from them, the hive mind of PRX.
That's what made them deadly.
And the pistol rounds have been, well, I hesitate to say important because they did flip-flop a lot at the beginning of this map. But they could be decisive. Everybody on PRX grouped up to try to punish 2Es.
Disrespecting for that one here. 2Years backs away with the TP. Off-angle approach now with the paranoia. Sent flying onto the left-hand side. 2Years. So not accounted for. QCK just trying to back him up as well as bail him out. And they are just collecting all sorts of kills, but the damage done through the wall. Not enough to collect the kill onto Devi.
Too far forward and not playing great angles. Pushing themselves into spots where they couldn't quite get it. Overextending to deal with Devi. Sadak shocks himself on the corner, but does pick up the kill.
Getting flustered, perhaps. Okay, there eventually with the reset of the aim. Less. A 1v3. You've seen magic.
He's done damage, but he can't get through this wall. Yeah. It's so powerful on the pistol. On both sides.
Right there.
For the retake.
Right there.
To block off angles in the post. It's such a nice addition to the KO Gecko comp that a lot of teams have been looking at.
Look at this, too much to clear really for Less. The man in his face, follow through with the bullets. No kill collected, but he does have too much to do. Already the time's getting away from him. Look at PRX. Stanced up, holding their ground, swinging off the contact, and that's pistol round 1 out for them. It's been so damn important. Like you said, you know, we've been talking about the details of the importance of it despite the initial start of this first half, but really it sets them up beautifully.
Look, slow up there. Devi is used as bait, and they really do bait Loud into taking bad fights in that situation. All of this was set up as well by an underhand KO flash combo with the Dizzy. I know that people have been looking at the something POV and talking about how he doesn't, you know, recycle the Gecko utility as much, that kind of thing. But they are really good at being able to combo those together to apply a lot of pressure to their opponents. And frankly, PRX move fast enough that sometimes you wouldn't even use a second round of Gecko util. Less takes an opportunity to try to go aggressive, gambling on the fact that PRX would not have everybody stacked in.
The zone presents itself for a team like Loud as well, because yeah, you've lost a pistol round. And PRX on our attack side again, very ult generation heavy. Something now 1 away from the Thrash to be used into the bonus round into the next. Assuming Loud can't do too much more damage here on their retake.
On the flash peek into backside as well.
Whoa!
Picking up 2. Still got that wall, but 2's on the flank.
Yeah, Peppered here, holding the util. Good adjustment by Mindfreak.
Close. A decent opportunity, actually, to turn that away. And send us down the spiraling path of thrifty after thrifty. But it was not to be. And as you were saying, Brett, building up something's ultimate here is really devastating for Loud. Difficult to deal with. And I think the addition of the Sage Wall just makes so many of these post plants a little easier to play. This is a map where we've seen a lot of teams develop really solid retake setups, where the amount of utility coming in just ends up being overwhelming. But if you force the retakers down a certain path dictated by that Sage Wall, things get a little easier for PRX.
Just throw a wrench into the plans of a lot of teams. I mean, Sage is so unorthodox on this map. Early Thrash. Used to set up here, out towards A.
But a fake in terms of where the pressure's actually coming from.
Yeah, I mean, he did have the spike on him, but the rest of his team now working into mid. Pop flash, wall up. Hearing all this noise, hearing all these sounds, but you can't survive it past the box. A call is made though. Loud want to commit into this fight. I'm going to commit heavily, out wide. Miscommunication, perhaps. There's something. Drops down as well, forced into the spectator's seat. With the spike drop down, it's a favored situation for Loud now.
They have spike. Very difficult to retrieve. If Monier gets another smoke online, which he does, he just sneaks in, sneaks out. And now all of Loud are in a pretty rough spot. They don't have any map control or information. Could be worried about some lurking happening here. So just like that, suddenly there's a lot of doubt in the heads of this Brazilian team.
A daylight robbery from Monier.
You'd expect the spam to be coming through as soon as the smoke gets deployed.
It wasn't there though. And now, because Loud was so heavily stacked up around that spike position, as you were saying, they've lost all map control.
Yeah.
They're having to triple up and re-clear everything together just in case.
And they're slow to do it as well. What you see from PRX
30
is that
seconds
after
left.
throwing that A utility, they were immediately up mid. And I was praising Sadak in the games that I've been recently watching of Sunset. He's very aware of those mid-lurk timings, but PRX are faster than Loud are anticipating. And didn't we see that all the time on Ascent? With individuals finding timings ahead of when they were going to be expected. And look
10
at the
seconds
map
left.
here, how far away the nearest Loud player is. PRX have got tons of time to try to reposition into a spot where they can upend the player disadvantage.
Miles away. PRX seeking to try and fight them deep into these angles. Now Loud are ready for it with those protocols. Monyet left alone to his devices. Only the Spectre in his hands. It would have to be a miracle. It would have to be mistakes to be made. Less though, hot on his heels as well to really collect up that kill and get that trade online. So that was a bonus round for PRX. The 2 players surviving for Loud, they might even consider that a bit of a success.
Yeah, I think I would. PRX's economy is in a really nice spot. And not just that, they did find a timing through mid. So anytime one of these timing-based macro plays works, it's going to add another layer of confusion in Sadak's calling.
Yeah.
Because with a composition like this, you have to be mobile to plug the gaps. And if you're slower than your opponents, you're going to leave those gaps open. Something, of course, he is picking up the attack side operator here on Gecko. His opping was sublime on Ascent, one of the big reasons that Loud are now 1 map away from elimination.
Massive round for Loud. Have to really lock this one up. Pretty heavy with the economical investment across the board from Loud. I mean, 2 players with a bit of money to spare, all picked up as well. So Forsaken just doing his darnest to try and build up towards that big ultimate.
And a very slow beginning to the round from PRX. Loud choosing to try to fight A main there. Recommitting to the angle after this utility was thrown.
Pushing them up. Here's a pivot though, straight into market. They got anything to try and push 2 years off. Here are the sound cues. Tidy placement there with a snake bite. Less well timed on top of it. Here we go. Drone into mid. Monyet. Second tag. Fakes like he could be TPing away, but he still maintains his position and his composure. In through mid now. Deep knife going to be landing into market. Wall through. Broken immediately. Couple of shots sprayed out. Can't quite break it though. Monyet could really be that insurance player now. Coming out from the back. Here's the rotation. QCK collects him. Quick on it with the trigger. Now we see it. Players lit up like a beacon. Something only the 1 instant trade. Something Forsaken just trying to play in tandem with each other, but they are overwhelming them. Mindfreak towards the back. Less is dodging and weaving, gliding across the floor. He finds it now, leaving it to Devi. Time ticking away. What is the call here? Tapping again, this time less sticking, not making the same mistake as the prior game 2 years. Locking down the angle and approach.
Loud coming out with a big win there after allowing PRX to get in onto site. Really crucial that they picked up that mid lurk. QCK's at the bottom of the scoreboard, but most of that is because he found it so difficult on the attack side to get in through A main. He just got beaten up over and over again in that same position. It's not really that he's even been able to take some fair units. And I'm surprised at how much the PRX economy was hurting there. They came into that round with a Stinger and a Spectre, even though I thought they were taking the previous one as a bonus. Clearly they didn't. PRX messing with their own economy a little bit has put them in a really tough spot.
Oh, they're going to be happy with it. Ooh, wall down. Face potentially can hear it. The footsteps rumbling towards him. He's looking for a tussle and a tumble. Less backing away. Will be postured away from that angle.
It's very rare that you see Less scrambled, but he did seem a little less than his calm usual self there. Forced to backpedal at some pace.
Clear game plan here for PRX, making sure that they can absorb up all the orbs around the map. PRX now defaulting back over towards B main.
And Tui's getting posted on A with the AWP. This is something that Loud have brought out fairly recently, but Tui's has been doing quite a lot of AWPing at this event so far.
Yeah.
And it allows them just to post him up on A, and they're not too worried. They can keep stacks towards the rest of the site. Having said that, Loud are mostly playing B for retake here. Not going to have any way of being able to challenge this.
Inside the market, Dizzy. What's that connection there onto QCK? So it looks like the wall is intact. Wasn't able to spam it down in time. Forsaken tucks Side by side wants to play together now, him and something here. Running back forwards, facing with it. The flash is not connecting here. Less run the back, feeling really the heat and the pressure, but Kawazin seeks to relieve it. And now back into the action and the fight. Rolling Thunder committed. You're not getting away with that one yet. Tried to TP to evacuate and escape the ire. Still after shock. Plenty of util left. Where that come from? Mindfreak. 2 on the table now, 2 left to go. Dropping down, knows they're not on it. Peeking through, another tap will force Mindfreak out into the open. Kawazin really seeking to deny this one. The half, running him down. Mindfreak performs magic before our bloody eyes.
What a ridiculous round for PRX to get. That was them on basically an eco round as well. Gonna be labeled as a Red Bull clutch, but could just as easily be called the Thrifty. Their economy was not good. It all came down to Mindfreak, and Lau could not find a safe position to go for the half.
Hesitation just to stick it and trust that they could potentially just hold down the angle. The Kawazin in that spot. I mean, it's super reminiscent, honestly, of the other day.
It's very...
How to play in Sen, John QT's playing the clutch. They can't decide who's sticking, a bit of miscommunication, maybe getting frantic.
It's very tough in those situations where you don't have smoke utility, because you don't isolate angles that the clutch player there, Mindfreak, could be peeking from. So really, you got to just tap and push. But instead they were, Sadak's trying to get half, wondering if he can, trying to tap to bait out the peaks, hoping that they can rely on their individual skill to win it out. And Mindfreak simply better in that moment. What a way for things to turn around. Because other than that, the game plan is actually not really working here for PRX. So weirdly enough, it's allowed to take the tactical timeout, but I think Alex will be happy to have a little chat with his team here.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is PRX are getting into post-plant situations quite a lot, and then they're forced to go for some post-plant aggression, and there's a bit of anti-synergy with the Sage Wall and the positioning. You saw them swing with just stingers into market there without too much util at hand. They're finding it difficult to pick those timings to disrupt the Loud retake. And if they just sit there, they can do that against other teams, but not against the comp that Loud are running. They're going to get obliterated. See if they change things up or coordinate that post-plant aggression just a tad bit better.
Strange buy though for Loud.
It is, yeah. It
Invested
is a force.
Yeah.
But Les would rather have a Sheriff than anything else.
This guy, I mean, he is incredibly consistent with it.
He is.
It's insane.
Got some of the best calm, raw aim based on his crosshair placement that I've ever seen.
Slow beginning though for PRX, nice and cautious off the rip. Trying to see if Loud will overplay their hands. Initially, lots of ults really to work with for PRX on top of that, so being given that B main control essentially for free. Looking like there is that hesitation though in terms of how they want to play it.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've spotted 2Es, and that seems to be a hard read that if they see 2Es over towards A, it's not the Breach Phoenix setup. Because they were ready to go for the B exec there, and now they've just come all the way back over towards A. And that's got to be a call from Mindfreak, I think, because he's the only one getting info on this side of the map earlier. They're going to hit a fairly weak site. 30 seconds on the clock.
Orb rebounding, 2 years, chance to play spoiler. But no, he's out of there, so... I'm sticking around to find out with this one. Hunter's Fury to try and deny this one. Plant will be disrupted. Flash up into the air. It's actually a nasty one as well. Connected onto a multitude of players. Now the Plant and the Pit all layered down onto the site. This does make it difficult. Toxic Screen going to be covering almost the entirety of the field.
No way of really using these Flash players to retake in this spot.
Absolutely. Paranoia though, Monyet going to be using this one nice and early, still holding for the shotgun. Molly at your feet, Mindfreak going to be pushed out to the open, and he is the critical player. Has to dodge and duck and weave away from these bullets. Led just flying straight past him as they're trying to attempt to clear through. Look at the orb placement on high. 2 years. He's got so much more to do from this position. He just doesn't have enough info to really work with. Disastrous here for Loud with the fact that it was that weaker investment. In fact, the total investment. Correction from me. Loud, they didn't put everything into that one.
It was weaker because it was a force. They were coming into it with at least one Sheriff and I think a Stinger to work with.
Yeah.
But they forced into this to try to stop PRX from getting to 11 on the board. Loud are now only 2 lost rounds away from being eliminated in 4th place.
When was the last time that happened?
I mean, top 4 of the Masters, listen, that is not bad by any means. They made it to playoffs, but when there's only 8 teams here. Sure, 8 of the top teams. Look at this, another boost play coming out from PRX.
Oh! It's disgusting.
They were innovating with that over towards A, and they do it again. Very reminiscent of when they first brought out the Sage comp on Pearl. Bait out the fights here from QCK and 2Es. This tower is coming crumbling down, making a fool of Leicester boot.
It's pure whimsy. Smiles on the faces as they're having it. I mean, they have brought this to series point, match point. Loud on the verge of being eliminated.
And I don't think many people had PRX winning in 2-0 fashion. Loud now need 5 in a row to be able to pull this out. And for them to go for this boost play, they know that the Dizzy has been broken in many rounds, so they know that somebody is top mid, waiting to break that piece of Gecko utility. They boost up, get the punish, and all of that in a round where Loud were just going for the eco anyway, trying to play for overtime, forced to by the Force in round 19. Or round 18, I should say.
And this is now going to take some heroics. Attack there with a knife. What's
He's so
the call
fast.
now for PRX?
He's so fast.
Fast! Manya doesn't care, man! Disrespectful in nature. Back, though, of the head. Flipped up by Kawazin as he does seek out that trade, and he will be granted it. Now to Thrash, though. Set this one up forwards here, still slowed. Seeking to reposition. Kawazin lays down the law and potentially gives them a fighting chance.
Can he be the hero just when his team needs it? One more onto Forsaken, important, and he takes it.
Good control.
4K in the round.
Something drops him, though. No ace to be really looked for. Something pulling this out of seemingly nowhere. 1v1 and Loud. Desperation. QCK knows the position. Throws the molly. Flash round dodge. Juked. Avoided. QCK saves the day.
It takes such heroics from Loud to just put the first of 5 necessary rounds on the board. Cowanzine was slowed up, top A link, had to take out 2 players where the trade, it looked like the spacing was good. And he'd already shut down that play from Monyet. Deletes 2 players as they come around the corner there, Mind Freak and Divide both falling. And it still came down to a 1v1. Oh.
You have to see that repeated a few more times. Loud, ideally with a couple more players intact, because taking some nasty hits to the eco. It'll have to be done if they want to stay alive in the series, stay alive in the tournament.
Something, looking to try to take an early timing here. Dueling against Les. I don't see how he's going to find the opportunity facing against this Viper wall. Les normally plays a little more passive, actually.
We have seen, you know, when Loud's back is up against the wall, Les tends to take matters into his own hands. Mind Freak taken out. They still have the res online for this one, but Divide, with him falling, no longer available.
The reaction from PRX, looking to try to hoover up this B control. Given that Les was peeking over towards Market,
Straight in there.
empty.
Dizzy committed by something. He's looking to see if he can get himself onto the deeper line. You don't expect that. Drops it, 3 versus 3 now. The knife attack, info gathered, at least that they know that Les is going to be there, but he's already playing now. High-low setup. The rest of his team out wide here. Something going for the peak, going for the peak! Catches it in the perfect timing. A bullet to the chest with the IGL down and deleted. 2 left standing. Les. Again, heroics are necessary. And it has to be coming out swinging, traded. 1 to stand, 2 years to do the most. A fake with the TP, a paranoia evaded and dodged and juked, but the crossfire setup, it's too strong, it's too damn strong, and PRX sealing away. Loud, dropping out. See you later, sent to the airport.
And something closing out Sunset, doing everything for them today. What a time, what a game to come alive. The best player for PRX in map 1 and map 2, sending home one of the VCT giants. What a clash. What a way to have this rivalry continue, with PRX being able to get the advantage over a team that loves brawling, loves playing against opponents that are swinging into them. Loud, unable to find the control here today to shut them down.
And that we will say goodbye to Loud. Not the run they wanted, but an admirable effort nevertheless. top 4 really gets heated when you have 8 teams at this tournament because the competition starts from the get-go.
Yeah, and they put themselves in a difficult position, honestly. This new style that they've come up with, it does kind of cause them to have to plug gaps constantly without that sentinel. They had to be mobile, they had to be aggressive, and they're playing against a team that wrote the book on playing an aggressive, mobile, constantly doing stuff kind of style.
Certainly did.
And PRX still had that diligence to their play today. Still had a really nice, close, steady attack side.
Absolutely insane stuff that we've witnessed as PRX squad lives yet another day. Let's send it down to the analyst desk to break it all down.
Unbelievable stuff from PRX. So many people doubted them coming into this series. A lot of people were just flat out giving it to Loud. But today the day belongs to W Gaming.
This team is inexplicable. Anytime you think they will not perform, this team steps up. They've improved so much from the first match they showed here in Madrid, from losing that final to Gen G, to now showing up here. And honestly, I think playing an exceptional game against Loud. They knew how to deal with this comp. The individuals are stepping up. Somehow something looks like a top 5 player of the event, and he's hopping on Gecko every map. It's ridiculous.
But you know what, though? I gotta say, I'm liking the ideas that I'm seeing there, even though sometimes they look a little bit rough. I like the way that something's just proactive, wants to get out there. He'll send Wingman to go and handle business and give him a little bit of more information. He's using the kid in a way that is working for him.
Yeah, we really didn't know what this team's style was going to be without Jing, but they have continued to find themselves. Monyet has improved throughout this event, and they've hit that flow state again, it seems.
Yeah, and that is very scary for anyone else that they will go up against. The question is, obviously, can they maintain this momentum? But here's a fascinating thing about this game, is that, quite honestly, Mimi, and I say this with full respect, it was like a boring game to a certain extent. PRX were kind of just doing their thing. They were drilled. They had moments where they just looked very well put together. They weren't trying to go for anything too wonky, but when they did, it looked like they had a plan. It looked like they had a very solid approach. It was honestly a joy to see this team evolve throughout this competition here in Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, Forsaken as well. He's the guy you have to highlight, playing seemingly every agent, doing so incredibly well. The guy has improved to an unbelievable degree along with his team. I think we've really seen this evolution, this next step of PRX, and I just don't know how they keep getting away with it.
To live another day. Let's give it up for PRX! Here with the Vi. First of all, congratulations on the win. Now, I have a very first important question. Your team wears the banner W Gaming. Can you explain to me, how does an opping Gecko fit so well into a W Gaming team?
I mean, technically on Sunset, we don't really have duelists, but I mean, men just love to op, you know? Like, it doesn't matter what agent you put on him, like, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna op, I'm gonna op, I'm gonna op. Sorry?
On Ascent, you do have a duelist there.
I don't know. I guess maybe he thinks that he's still playing duelist, you know? But, I mean, as long as he's working out, should be fine, you know?
Ok, le he preguntado que cómo puede ser posible que en un equipo que le gusta ir tan a la cara funcione también un Gecko con el Operator, y la verdad que dice que Something funciona muy bien cuando no tienen duelista, y cuando también lo tienen, pues mira, él se siente cómodo, tiene esa madera de duelista, así que ¿por qué no aprovecharla? So, yesterday we didn't get a chance to talk to you after your loss, right? I want you to tell me how the conversation was when you were back at the hotel thinking about today. Like, what were the learning points from yesterday to today?
I think we learned that most of the teams, when they play us, they kind of like really study us, you know? So we just like, oh, we have to either go even W Gaming or try to counter them, you know? Like, I mean, for this, we match up against Loud and we played them before. And I think our strat is probably just counter less, you know? I mean, he's been giving us a lot of troubles last time. So yeah, as long as Les doesn't play well, I think we are good to go.
So interesting. Le he preguntado porque obviamente después de ayer no escuchamos cómo se sentían después de la derrota. Dicen que para la preparación de hoy lo más importante era conterear a Les, que no tuviera la libertad que a veces tiene, y sabían que podían llevarse esta victoria. I love that you say this also, because tomorrow you're going up against Sentinels. Now, you just taken down Loud, you know, and there's only one remaining team from Americas. How do you think that is going to be different? Because you say you do have the experience with Loud, but you do not have it. Well, off-season tournaments, yes.
Yeah, I mean, technically we played Sentinel before, and they kind of like beat us to it. And I think this time is a good time for us to prove ourselves again. And I think it's going to be hard, definitely. They've been playing very well. But I think this time we have to prove that PRX bundle is better than Sentinel's bundle, you know?
Le he preguntado que cómo va a ser diferente su partido mañana contra Sentinels, porque ya han derrotado a uno de los seeds de América, se tienen que ir contra el siguiente. Desde luego que jugaron también en la off-season. Me dice que están muy preparados, que quieren esa venganza de una victoria que ya se llevó Sentinels y quieren demostrar que su bundle es mejor que el de Sentinels. Thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow. Let's hear it one more time for PRX. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kukuka, for that Verizon post-match interview with Divide. Absolute wildness down there as the fans were all getting into it. So we're just glad that we're back here again to cover what was honestly an awesome game to talk about the end of the day. And we lost a little bit of hair on the desk, you know? So we were follically challenged here.
That is,
you got to hold it down.
That is, of course, the biggest difference between me and Kukuka. Is simply, you put a wig on me, I look exactly like Kukuka.
You could pull it off. He's also fluent in Spanish. You could be down there translating.
Josh, say Spanish right now.
Sí.
Yeah, nailed it. All right. Well, first, before, though, we do have to say goodbye to Loud, a team that we all know and love. It was a tough matchup for them. But Sideshow, I mean, we were talking about it before, you obviously on the cast. It just felt as if this game, it was like PRX just managed to get Loud out of their groove and into a real bad funk, and it felt like they were never able to get into this.
Yeah, I think the Pacific teams have been massively underestimated, actually. They exposed one of the problems with Loud's current setup, which is that when you play without a Sentinel and you have to be really active around the map, to make sure that you plug those gaps with timings, there are no teams that play timings better than the Pacific region.
Yeah.
They're more opportunistic than most of the others. They have a higher APM than most of the other regions.
Somewhere Achilleos is wailing at the screen.
Yeah.
He was texting me during the game. This is the greatest day of his life, I think. When his future child is born, not better than Gen G and PRX winning in the same day.
Yeah, but I think that people hard underestimated the Pacific teams, and I think that
You say people. Was it not us?
No, I mean, no, genuinely. I mean, I had Gen G at number 3 coming in, and I think I underrated them. And I think PRX were underrated because they were playing worse at kickoff.
Yes.
And they've actually gotten better. Right, so
I mean, we were seeing some bizarre things from PRX throughout Swiss.
But I think that's what's so impressive, that they managed to make this comeback. Like you were talking about on the cast, they've been learning throughout this run at Madrid. I think really starting to find themselves in their comps, and also the individuals finding form.
I think they're actually unlearning. Does that make any sense? They were trying. I think they were trying too hard before.
It's like when you get someone out of a cult, you have to deprogram them and then get the new good stuff in.
Yeah, I think it kind of was like
I'm saying they were a cult last year, but just drawing comparison.
I would happily join the cult of PRX.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Everyone gets a PRX bundle when you join the cult. It's great.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
I'm in.
Oh boy. But this has been super fun, though. I mean, look, it's disappointing to say goodbye to Loud, but I am just... Give me more PRX, baby. It's going to be great.
PRX Sentinels. What a game that's going to be.
I'm so glad you said that, Mimi, because look at this. We got a bracket graphic. Let's go ahead and fly that darn thing, because it's not really much of a bracket. We got 3 teams left in the darn thing. Sentinels, PRX, the final matchup to decide who will square off against Gen G. Fascinating storylines here, right? You got a Sentinels team that really ran into a well-drilled, well-prepped Gen G that look on fire, and then you have a PRX team that knows all too well about how good this Gen G team can be, but both teams really struggling to be able to pull off those wins. So this is going to be a tall order for both of these squads remaining in the competition.
Yeah, I think it is. There is entirely a possibility that we have a double Pacific finals in a way where, again, Pacific never lifted a global trophy before, and a Korean team has not been in the finals before.
And Achilleos isn't here.
Yeah. I mean, that's not something to laugh about. That's sick.
That's not funny.
That's a sick, disgusting.
I've known Seth for years. He's going to be mad at me, but it's okay. I'll buy him a beer.
But I really feel like Sentinels are going to find it difficult to make their way through both of these teams. PRX are playing with such a vision about the way that they're playing and finding these movements around the map. This is not the same team that was running triple duelist coming in on split. And I think their map pool actually too, the way that they play Sunset, it's like the big brother of what Sentinels are doing on Sunset. So that's going to be difficult to go up against too.
Yeah, I think the style match is going to be so interesting because Sentinels, obviously, they constantly have a Sentinel. They're always playing with John QT, but still, I feel like there's this inexplicable ability for PaperX to make these unbelievable timings. However, for Sentinels, if they were going to win a trophy here, it had to be the long way. It has been all year. Every match, every day. Kaplan not allowed to sleep.
Yeah, Kaplan not allowed to enjoy things. But of course, so this is going to be a tall order for any team. Gen G looks stupendous. But the good news for all of you wonderful people at home is that we're going to let you know about a little fun thing we're doing on Sunday. And that's right. Guess what? It's a Masters event. So we got a show match, the Madrid show match. And we got a lot of great streamers that are going to be participating in this one. For Team Spain, you got Mixwell Black, Hitbox, as well as Leviathan and Sergio. And then on the other side, you got Fugo, YJJ, Jisoo, hopefully I didn't say that name wrong, Kaide's coming through, and Mimi. I'm a big fan of Mimi.
Yeah, so, thank you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of you and also that Mimi.
The more skilled Mimi. the Mimi who, dare I say it, knows Valorant better.
You wouldn't have won Premier without me. You'd be nothing without me, Wilkinson.
All right, simmer down, y'all.
But I'm not as good as her.
Simmer down, y'all. All right, guys, it's going to be awesome, but don't worry, we'll remind you about the show match again tomorrow. And also, there's going to be a new agent revealed, so that will be quite fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. But that is going to do it for us today. And what a day of Valorant it has been. From seeing Gen G make history to PaperX proving the doubters wrong, you honestly couldn't have asked for anything better. And the good news is there's plenty more coming tomorrow because you're going to get PaperX versus Sentinels. We thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you mañana for more Valorant right here at the Madrid Arena. A grand final spot is on the line, as well as history. For Sentinels, it's about going back to championship form, and for Gen G, it's about Gen G establishing themselves as a top-tier team in Valorant.
Yo, what are you doing, guys? Wake up! It's leaving Meteor alone. The snakebite landed by Meteor. The clock is running down. Munchkin late flanks up through heaven, and the classic flanks awkward. An opportunity to trade it back further. It's huge from Texture. Completely bamboozling them. It's done on the spot. Karen does well to find one, and there's the follow-up.
Hello, guys.
Meteor the first to take it, and he won't stop. And it's done just like that. A devastating start to this series for Sentinels.
Could just be 2 away. There you go.
What is that?
He's waiting for someone to go for the bomb. They've done it right. He's able to drop 2. Surely it's 2.
Isolates one to right into his crosshair.
Right, time for the rotation. Sat at the back with the Odin in hand. John QT with one more, and through the smoke, John QT will close it. We're getting the map 3 we desired.
Black is not giving it up. They've lined up for the triple. And 2 taken down just like that. They saw the final player.
I know you. I know you.
Received. Hunter's Fury is up. Push up by Sassy. And a headshot angle. 1 by Texture with 2 kills and a 3rd.
Whoa, nice.
The time is running out, and now it's gone. History for Korean Valorant as Gen G 13-3 Sentinels. An absolute demolition of America's #1.
It's the unique and bombastic team from Pacific in PaperX going up against the well-oiled machine in Loud.
Last time PaperX eliminated them, we are starting with Ascent.
You might see some knife action swinging around. We won't make the London reference again, but listen.
1 enemy remaining.
Typical. Half under the fuse might make a difference. PaperX might free. Going forward. Right click. Away. He's seen it. Just ulted up there and he just sees him crouch. That's unreal. Tuyas wins it out. Happy as anything. Map 1 entirely wrapped up. Fantastic. stick, and maybe more so. One player to stand. Judge, no clearance. No clearance. It's starting to get sloppy. It's starting to get sloppy. Reload online. Shottar's no. Jumping around the punish. And they're out wide and open. Still after shot. Plenty of util left. But that force line 3 out into the open. Kawazine.
One enemy remaining.
Deny this one. Running him down. TP, a paranoia, evaded and dodged and juked, but the crossfire setup is too strong, it's too damn strong, and PRX seal it away. Loud, drop it out. See you later, sent to the airport.
She said he was calling on.
And PRX play after this to decide who will likely get the chance. Zekken's going to try and get aggressive, but this time it's a be execute. They're looking to end this quickly. Straight into the site they go. Sassy has at least kicked it off with an opener. The spike dropped for a second, and Meteor desperately low.
Cutting through. But that doesn't deter him. He is still going aggressive and swinging into heavy traffic. Only the one to be found. But with 10s on 5 HP, those pieces can be picked up by someone else. Texture, Munchkin, and Karen. History on the line, but still plenty of opportunities. The pressure won't be felt just yet. Snakebite up and over from Sentinels. They look to push some players on backside out of position. Here comes the util from Sassy. The swing from Karen is good to start. Another for Texture, and there's only 2 on Sentinels left. Sassy does well, but they need to get on this spike, force these players out into an open fight, and it's Sassy to look to punish. John QT gets it half, but they're both extremely low. The time is running out, and now it's gone. History for Korean Valorant as Gen G 13-3 Sentinels. An absolute demolition of America's #1. They've booked their spot in the grand final, and anyone who faces them moving forward will be terrified of these new names. Players like Meteor, Texture, Karen. Unbelievable performances from every one of these players. 3 rounds for Sentinels, Tom. How is that even possible?
I don't think they're going to be playing Breeze much throughout the rest of the tournament, I'll be honest with you. And they'll go into the best of 5. That's the thing, though. There is still time to recover. It was mentioned by Kavlan. He wanted that day off. He's not getting it. He's got to get right back to prepping. He's got to get right back to watching this next series because the Korean powerhouse, the new look Gen G, they brought back some risky players, some players who didn't have success last year, taking a gamble with a youngster, put Munchkin at the helm.
We have the question of if they're going to make it through, are there serious contenders to making it all the way through and take on Sentinels tomorrow, right? We need a convincing win for either of them.
I think that